The myth of Bigeh Island. There is an island very close to the more popular and famous sunken Philae Island. The Temple of Philae, of course, is now on the island of Ajilka, as it was moved due to the Aswan Dam, causing the island to be mostly underwater. But it is not the Philae temple that I find so interesting as much as its neighbour on the Bigeh Island, as the myths that surround this island are truly fascinating. The island itself has some ruins that date much farther back than Philae, as you can see from these old paintings that are painted from the angle of being on Bigeh Island overlooking Philae, and the ruins on Bigeh look much older. There is not much left of the temple and structures of Bigeh, but the mythology is very old and very interesting. Firstly, it is supposed to be one of the sources of the Nile. There is a cave from which large volumes of water is reputed to have originated. All we have now are the strange eddies and movements of the water that seem to originate from this island. The next myth is one that was originally for Bigeh Island and was then later transferred to Philae, or that's how it seems to me anyway. I was told when I was visiting Philae that the island was the mythical burial place of the body of Osiris. But as I dig deeper, it seems that the myth might be talking about Bigeh and not Philae. But that's probably because they're so very close together. So if we have a look at the Google Maps image, you can see Bigeh and the sunken area, which used to be Philae. I was told that the island of Philae had special properties because it was solid granite, and I suspect that Bigeh is also granite from the outcrops of rock. And only thing is, I haven't actually been able to find this out and confirm it for myself, but it certainly looks that way to me. Anyway, the Greeks refer to the final resting place of Osiris on this island as Abaton, and they describe it as a sacred grove which contains his tomb. There's another story about Philae that now seems to be only about the grove where Osiris is located, and the myth is that no birds can fly over the area. In fact, no living thing can comfortably walk over it. One of the reliefs on the Hadrian Gate describes the ancient ruins in this way: fishing, fowling, and music are prohibited in the area. It also indicates that no man or beast, except the priests of the grove, are able to be in the vicinity of the grove. And that's kind of similar to the other one, isn't it? I don't know if this was by prohibition or that they were physically unable to approach it, but it certainly reminds me of the apparent final resting place of the Ark of the Covenant in Ethiopia, where only the priests can go anywhere near. So according to legend, every 10 days, Isis left her temple on Philae and visited the tomb of her husband. The burial place was apparently surrounded by 365 altars for the daily offerings of milk. In addition to the ruins of the temple, Bigeh has a number of inscriptions from officials who came to visit the island to pay their respects. Then comes an inscription that I am very interested in, and that's of the 18th dynasty, stating that Prince Khayyam Waset, who will be remembered as the favourite son of Ramses II, celebrated the jubilee of his father for the first time in the 13th year. If you have checked out my episodes on Khayyam Waset, you'll know that my suspicion is that Kayamwaset went away somewhere because his tomb has a fake body in it made from bull bones. But hey, check out the other episode because that's a really interesting story. So, back to the grove, Abaton, and in Greek it's called the untrodden place. And obviously there was Osiris there and occasionally Isis, but were there other gods involved on this island? The god Thoth must also have been important here, and probably also had a temple, since there are epithets of Thoth as the great and splendid god in Bigeh, and he that pacifies the Nesret in Bigeh. The translation of Nesret is fire, but I believe it means energy. And the last reference to the grove which we have was in the late 3rd century AD, when a representative of King Talakhada Mani of Kush visited the Abaton with gifts. So obviously the Abaton was still there in the 3rd century. Bigeh Island is known as a World Heritage Site, and it's also an archaeological reserve in Aswan. It has an eco-hotel located on it, and in my opinion, that's a very interesting place to visit, and it's somewhere I would love to go and stay and spend a bit of time there.